and you're buried here, and then they build a supermarket on top of your family. Today, I'm in a city that has known many names. In modern-day Turkey, it's called Bodrum. In the past, it was referred to as Zafiria, but I think its most notable moniker is that of Halicarnassus, where one of the ancient wonders of the world once stood, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. In fact, I think I'm here right now. And today we're starting from the end of the life of King Mausolus. King Mausolus ruled over the ancient land of Caria from 377 to 353 BC. Caria was part of the Persian Achaemenid Empire at the time and was a satrapy, like a province of the Persian Empire. Now, Mausolus did many things while he ruled over Caria. He started to fortify the city with impenetrable walls and gates. He built an amphitheater for his people, the remains of which we will visit today. But his most magnificent attribution to the city occurred after his death. That is the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, whose construction began under the orders of his sister wife, Artemisia II, in 353 BC. The Mausoleum at Halicarnassus once stood 148 feet tall, 45 meters for those who aren't free. The monument opened with a staircase lined with lions and was adorned at each level with massive sculptures of gods and goddesses, bas reliefs of battles, columns, a pyramidal roof, and on top was a massive sculpture of a horse-drawn carriage with 4 horses, and inside rode King Hecatomnus and his wife, Artemisia. These walls made up the perimeter of where the monument once stood. You can see how absolutely massive this was just in width, and then imagine 140 feet up. It was slowly and gradually destroyed by earthquakes up until the 15th century, when it was finally disassembled by the Knights of St. John, who used the pieces to build the Bodrum Castle, which we went to a couple weeks ago. You can see here all of the columns that were once a part of this massive structure, probably toppled over here during earthquakes, and will now remain here so long as a bunch of scoundrel knights don't come and pick them up and try to make a fortress out of them. And here, in this little visitor center, they have a little miniature, a little diorama of all of the places that we're seeing today. Well, most of them. And you can see here the walls of the ancient city of Halicarnassus. We have here the mausoleum, which is where we currently are. Up there, the amphitheater, and the rest of the walls. One of the walls leading to the gate, Myndos Gate, the gate that once led the residents from the city of Halicarnassus to the city of Myndos. But first, we should check out this amphitheater. We have made it to the theater, built by Mausolus, at least started by Mausolus, and later expanded by the Romans and the Byzantines. The amphitheater once held an estimated 10,000 people, although today it can only sit 4,000 people. I guess that's because a lot of the seats are still covered up with dirt, but maybe it's because we got fat. And I think we know amphitheaters by now. We got the VIP section right here. We got the normies, the second class normies, and then we got the nosebleeds here. I once went to a Tool concert and I got the nosebleed seats over there, which probably would be fine under any other circumstances. But the lead singer of Tool, Maynard James Keenan, doesn't like himself being projected on screens. So I was like half a mile away. I couldn't see a dang thing, and it was not worth the $100 that I paid for it. And we have the lower area right here where the performers and the orchestra would have gathered before the performances to prepare themselves physically and mentally for their performance. This is where they would have hung out, oiled up their instruments, done some vocal exercises before stepping out onto the stage to perform for the people of Halicarnassus. We're walking on the side of a highway, and I don't know how well you can hear me. We just left the amphitheater that King Mausoleum built for the people of Halicarnassus for their entertainment. Now we're going to check out what Mausoleum built for his people's protection. We're going to the ancient Myndos Gate. Oh my God, this is so much cooler and mightier than I thought it was gonna be. This gate is called Myndos Gate. It was the gate that led to the city of Myndos, which is now a little bit west of Bodrum city center. It's now a place called Gümüşlük, and this is called Myndos Gate because it's the gate that led to Myndos. And on the other side of Halicarnassus, there was a gate called Mylasa Gate, which, you guessed it, led to the city of Mylasa. It's amazing here. You can see the moat that slithers and snakes around the gate here that was used to protect the gate from invaders, to protect against catapults and chariots getting too close to the gate. They built this moat. It's 56 meters long and 7 meters deep, I think, or 7 meters wide and 2.5 meters deep. I don't know, meters, what am I saying? And this moat actually helped to protect against an invasion by a certain Alexander the Great. Heard of him? And right here, where I'm sitting, or, within the vicinity, Alexander the Great besieged the city of Halicarnassus. In 334 BC, Alexander the Great came to Halicarnassus, a part of his campaign to conquer the Persian Empire. As he moved south, came from Macedonia down the coast of Anatolia, he finally came to Halicarnassus. While he was moving down south, his strategy was to slowly but surely destroy the port towns that were strongholds for the Persian Empire, because Alexander didn't have a navy, so he was destroying the important naval centers of the Persian Empire to weaken them so that he could take them from the land, which was his strong suit. Alexander the Great, he came here with his army and tried to knock down the city walls that fortified Halicarnassus. The defenders of Halicarnassus used the scorched earth policy. They knew that they were no match for Alexander the Great and his army, so they set fire to the city, destroyed most of the city so that Alexander couldn't make use of any of their infrastructure. Alexander eventually captured the city of Halicarnassus. When Alexander took this city, he was the ripe age of 22 years old. What were you doing at 22? And I do believe that over here, there are probably some more graves. It's usually just a grave, isn't it? Old dead people and old rocks, but I'm loving it. Yep. Definitely graves. You can see the mass graves behind me, and in front of me, we have a resort. Fun for the whole family. Grave photo shoot. This is what the inside looks like. There used to be a sarcophagus containing the body of someone important whose final resting place is now content for my YouTube channel. Here we have the moat of the city. There's the southern tower and the north tower. And right here we have the wall. We came to the top of the staircase. The city walls just keep going, and it's this beautiful little meadow area here with a nice bench. What say you, citizen? Agreed. Now, I'm a little hungry, so I think I'm gonna have a little poacha with a side of ancient rock tombs. What? It's your standard grocery store with clothes and washing machines for some reason, but also food. Look, they got noodles. They got a wall full of pickles. But if you walk all the way to the back of the store, make a right, you will find something very interesting. What we are looking at right now is an ancient tomb chamber from the 3rd century BC that was used by a family. The tomb chamber contained 6 sarcophagi, and within the chamber, human bones, ceramic fragments, and other pots were discovered. Now, the bodies that were once buried here have long since been removed, but I mean, thank God. Could you imagine being buried here in such a beautiful tomb? Such a beautiful, well-made tomb, probably for a wealthy or noble family. And you're buried here, and then they build a supermarket on top of your family. Okay, I've got my poacha. I've got my ayran. I'm gonna eat these, and then I think I gotta go to the hospital because there are some sick ruins there. Outside of the Bodrum American Hospital, you can find a small cafe, as well as some late Roman-era mosaics dating back to between the 4th and 7th centuries AD. The area was unearthed back in 2018, and based on the 19th century writings of Voyager C.T. Newton, archaeologists believe that the newly discovered ruins might have been part of a monastery called the Hagia Maria Monastery. On display via the glass floors are some stunning works of art with a range of motifs. Ivy branches, quails, octopus, fish, crab, and even an image of a stork with a snake in its mouth. Another mosaic features floral motifs and a leaping deer, and at some point in history, some bozo built a wall over the middle of the mosaic and damaged it. Today we have walked through time. We went through ancient Caria. We saw some Roman period things because the Romans went everywhere and they left a bunch of junk behind. And now we are taking a tiny little baby step back in time to the Ottomans because they left behind some windmills. So as you can see and probably hear, I am standing in a place with a lot of wind. Wind that comes from the Aegean. Now this wind was vital to the Ottomans. In the 1700s, they built a bunch of windmills, and the windmills were used to grind flour. Once again, there was a road made for humans and cars that I could have taken, but I'm in the bush. But that's okay, because we made it to some ruins. Wow, that flour would have been ground good here. It's so windy. So far on my channel, this is a unusual stop because up until this point, I've mainly gone to places in antiquity. That's why I wanted to name my channel Yako in Ruins and not like ancient, historical, or something like that. Makes it seem like I'm a historian, which I'm not, and I'm not educated. I'm just a, I'm just dabbling. I wanted it to be ruins, both ancient ruins and ruins from like the Ottoman period, the Soviet period. Enough yapping. Shut your trapping and start whacking. somewhere else. Start whacking somewhere else. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Look, you have this giant wheel here. I'm assuming it would have spun. Wait, I'm figuring this out in real time. I'm assuming that this big old hunk of wood would have spun, would have been turned with the wind, with the propellers outside. It would have turned it, and it would have turned this giant wheel, which would have turned this little cog right here, and would have turned this stone, which would have ground the flour, which was on the bottom of it, and then it would have been slowly pushed out through this little hole and down to the bottom where they would process it. Look at that. Big brain wins again. Oh, it smells nice. This looks new. Does it not look new? I feel like this probably is not that old. And it's left here, and it's abandoned, so it counts. It is within the range of my brand, I guess we could say. Final thoughts. Well, here's the thing. I live in Bodrum. I never took the time to look into all of these cool, old, abandoned, ruined places. I'm glad I finally did. I'm glad that you did. And if you come here one day, you can message me and I'll show you around. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.